Good morning, church. It's good to be with you today. And today we reach the exile of the kingdom of Israel, and Judah will not be that far behind. In 17, we have the reason for the exile, for abandoning God, for going into idolatry, for leaving the commands of the Lord behind and never repenting, even though they were sent prophet after prophet. As we talked about at the start of all this, Israel had no good kings. Jeroboam began by being afraid that Israel would restore itself to Judah and that in doing so would kill him. And so he prompted idolatry by setting up the golden calves, and it stayed that way ever since, leading ultimately to the total destruction of that people. And that should remind us that the only fear that we should have is the fear of the Lord. There should be no opportunity for us to continually be going astray, to be doing anything other than serving the Lord our God. Just a quick note between 2 Chronicles 28 and 2 Kings 17 is that in 2 Kings we have Shalmaneser as the king that comes in. And in 2 Chronicles 28, even though the exile itself is not recorded, since Chronicles focuses on Judah, Tiglath-Pileser is the Assyrian king. So Tiglath is the father of Shalmaneser, and so it could have been one or both of them that came in, and so the confusion or the distinction there is understandable. And I want to think about King Ahaz, the king of Judah, who was reigning while all these things happened to Israel. And if we read chapter 28, we get his terrible response to distress. The more distress comes upon him, the more he abandons God. His thought process, it explicitly says as well, the Damascus gods defeated me, so I must worship them. And he goes as far as locking up the temple so that nobody can go and praise God. And that can be a symbol of our hearts, that when times get hard, it's not going the way we want. Psalm 73 remembers the psalmist almost envied the wicked because it seemed like things were going so well for them and they were so hard for him until he went into the house of the Lord and saw that theirs was a slippery slope, one leading to destruction. And this is Ahaz. He did not enter the house of the Lord so he could see, but rather he joined them on that slope of destruction. And so let's not be like Ahaz. Let's guard our hearts against such things so that we can turn to delighting in the Lord always. And one way that we delight in the Lord is to speak like him. James chapter 3 about controlling the tongue. And it says, with a small fire sets ablaze a large forest. The tongue is a fire. And where he says about how blessings and cursings cannot come from the same mouth, how salty water can't come from a fresh spring. We cannot be double-minded. We can't be that wave tossed in the ocean, that tumbleweed blown about the prairies. How we talk needs to be different. How we communicate needs to reflect a changed life for the Christian. We are called to be unique, different, set apart, holy. And the primary way we communicate that is how we behave, the actions that people see, and how we talk. This tongue of ours needs to be saved and baptized as much as the rest of us. And that all starts up here with our mind, and it's in our hearts. You know, it's how we think, how we feel leads to how we talk and how we act. So let us continue to pursue the Lord and let his light be reflected in our lives. And let's resist the urge to jump down that slippery slope, no matter what the circumstances around us might be doing.